1, 2,
Welcome to the Clarinet Ninja Podcast. My name is Jay Hassler, and I'm here doing my best to bring you the finest in clarinet information and entertainment. Today we've got part 2 of the conversation with Josh Gu and Lynne Snyder. If you haven't checked out part 1, please do that. But listen to this first. Doesn't matter what order you listen to it in. Josh Gu, if you don't know, Quick Start Clarinet. Lynne Snyder, if you don't know, Queen Reed. All those links are down in the description. Also links to me, Clarinet Ninja Dojo. Check it out if you're just getting started. You're coming back after a long break, or you've been playing for years. There is a space for you in the Clarinet Ninja Dojo. And it's a great place to learn the clarinet, to refine what you already know on the clarinet, and to really just get your trajectory shooting straight up, getting better, having a great time doing it. Please check it out. And if you haven't, like, subscribe, 5 stars. Would you do it? All right. Here's the end of the conversation between Lynne Snyder, Josh Gu, and me. Cool, Lynne.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a little bit of money, like a few $100s. What do you suggest that they think about getting?
Okay, this is where, like, if it's just like if it doesn't have to be a mouthpiece, right?
No, it doesn't have to be a mouthpiece.
This is where I chime in with the get some lessons. Go take some lessons. But we've already said that, so I'm going to say another thing. And the other thing is go get yourself some tickets to an orchestra or a group of your choice and get as good a seat as you can get and go listen to those clarinets and then go talk to them after the concert. Like, spend your money on an experience that is a live musical one where you can potentially be inspired, and you can go there and you can maybe meet somebody and make a connection and talk with somebody. And I mean, when you grab a clarinetist after a show, and if you are like, hey, what mouthpiece do you use? What reeds do you use? You know, people want to talk about their equipment or their warm-up routine, or, you know, any of those kind of burning questions that we all have. I think that's a great use for your money. I think that's a really good use for your money.
Nobody can do anything that for free that benefits them. If they want to talk to me, then tell me they think I sound good playing the clarinet, because you know what? You've got my attention. And I'll tell you anything you want to know about what it is that I'm doing, whether that's going to be helpful or not. No, it'll be helpful. But like, I think that that's something that we forget. Like, all of us, like, if you walk up to a very famous clarinet player and you say, I love the way you play the clarinet, there's no end to how much that feels good. You know, and that, yeah, what you just did made a difference to me. I meant to go hear live music last week and I didn't. I wanted to go hear Ken Poposky play because he was doing the Bird with Strings at Birdland, and I didn't go. And I wonder, I know why I didn't go, because I was really busy all week and I was tired. But then I think, just go, just go like that. I mean, New York City is expensive, and if I don't go and do things that are exclusive to like what you can do in New York City, why am I living here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so
When you have a chance to hear an eminent clarinetist of our time, you know, would you have missed out on seeing Mozart if you could have back in the, like, if somebody said, hey, on Ticketmaster, you can get some tickets to go hear Mozart, you wouldn't have missed it. You would have put on your wig and gone.
Yeah, true. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's the wig that I'm missing. Maybe I'd feel more comfortable out in the world. This mid-range thing, like, let's say somebody wants to buy a new case. I'm fascinated with, obviously, nothing beats the Jace if it existed. But what kind of case do you have, Lynne?
Ooh, I have the BAM. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like the double click case. It's very thin, which is why I have to have my, like, I can't fit my reeds in there very well. So, like, that's part of the Tupperware issue. But it's the very thin double case. And I think it was originally meant to, like, zip into the bass clarinet pack.
Oh, I know what that one is. Yeah, not
Yeah.
too many people actually have that one.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I got it at a very good price, and it's BAMs. And it zips, right? I don't want latches. I want a zip. And
Interesting.
so, right, because
I want latches.
latches can fail.
Well, but
Latches
you know,
can fail, and then I've got my luggage strap. You know, I've got like a bow trying to hold my clarinet case together.
it's funny. I've never had a latch fail. I have had zippers fail.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like zippers are going to give you 10 years.
Okay.
And then a zipper going around a corner is going to get messed up.
Yeah, that's true. But so far, I've had this case for like 15 years, and where's some wood I can knock on? It's okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it when my statements are proven totally wrong immediately after I say them. But here's what I love. You've got a very thin case that's so
Uh-huh.
thin that you
Uh-huh.
can't fit your reed Tupperware in it, so you've got to
Yep.
carry a totally another bag.
Yes.
It's,
Whole nother
it
bag.
seems like you wiped out
It's an
the
opportunity for a fashion situation. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of accessorizing and color coordinating that can happen, which pleases me greatly.
well, but and I think that's something that is undervalued, is that being pleased with the looks of our equipment is an important thing, right? I mean, sometimes I play on a black ligature because I want to look like Michael Knight in Knight Rider, and then other times I want a gold one because I want to look like I have money.
Yeah,
You know,
it's great.
and it's actually
Yep.
not false. That has happened. Not the part about having money, but there are sometimes I feel like I want a different look, and it's only to entertain myself, right? Because I don't think a ligature does anything.
Mhm.
I do. It holds on the reed and it allows it to vibrate. And within a large swath, there's differences, but none that are so big a reed choice can't be made to accommodate the difference. But what kind of case do you have, Josh?
Yeah, I'm rocking just the cheap ProTech double case that I got like 10 years ago now when I first got my first A clarinet and needed a double case. And I've definitely been tempted by cases, and I have also brainstormed a very cool case design that's a music stand built into your case at the same time, and also have made no progress on actually making that a reality. But
Do you have a garage? I don't know why you haven't.
it's true, yeah, I have no excuse.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the ProTech case, it's got the backpack straps, it has room for my music and iPad, it's got the front case where I can put all the other accessories and stuff, and it's served me well, and I haven't really needed a need to change, yeah.
Well, I'm the case I carry most of the time is this little ProTech case, and I don't bother with the double case unless I'm going to be playing my A clarinet. And then I've got a triple case. I got one of those Bona triple cases that I have my E flat. But then because I've got a two talking about getting in the weeds, I've got a two PC flat that there's a crack in the tone hole that's in the tenon.
Mm.
So I had Melanie Wong, the last thing she did for me before she left, which I haven't forgiven her for, is sort of make it go together. Maybe she didn't do that. No, she didn't do that. She didn't even fix it before she left. That's why I'm so mad. Krista Bertrand did it. She put it together and said, just don't take it apart. Just don't take it apart. But then the problem is I only have that Marcus Bona case to put it in. So then I've got to carry it everywhere I go.
Mhm.
And this gets very heavy. So finally, thanks to Michael Lowenstern, I got the new Marcus Bona E flat case, which was a couple $100, but it's super small. And when I go like play Broadway, I need my E flat clarinet. This small case, this small ProTech plus that small case works really, really well in a bass clarinet case, right? Because that is what everybody needs, right? Is a bass clarinet case that can also hold a B flat and or A, which Weissman makes for like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's a great case, super heavy. They're great, but also tell me if I'm crazy. I want a case that opens on my lap that won't
Yes.
slip off. That's one of the most important functionalities of a
Yes.
case ever. And the Weissman cases I find to be a little bit unwieldy.
Hmm. Hmm.
But man, they're beautiful and
They
they go
look
on
so
airplanes.
cool. They
They,
look, it's like you're an architect. You've got all of your your plans are all rolled up in there. I mean, you could be anything getting on a plane. Everybody's like, "Ooh, who's that? They've got that. What's in that case?" It's very cool. There's a aura of mystery about those cases, but I don't have one because my clarinet, I would drop it. It would roll right out. It would roll off my lap.
yeah, that would be a challenge for me. And what if you don't need your bass clarinet?
Yeah.
Because one of the challenges for me is switching cases. There's so much stress in switching cases. If I go from this into my double case, then I might forget part of my clarinet.
Hmm.
One time, this is the first time I publicly told the story. I showed up at Radio City to play, and there's two chairs that I was subbing on. One had A and B flat clarinet, so I needed both, and the other one just had B flat clarinet. And I managed to show up with half my A clarinet and half my B flat clarinet. And they went together incredibly easily. And I played a scale and thought, oh my, what am I going to
Oh
do?
no.
There's no fixing this, right? Fortunately, at Radio City, there's lots of people that sub there, and there's lots of clarinets backstage. And the person sitting behind me had an extra B flat clarinet, so I played that one. But I feel like it messed up my ears for about 6 months because that scale that I played was so bizarre. And so, but that comes from switching cases. And now I'm terrified to ever do it again. In a very OCD way, I count. I have got everything numbered. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I've got my reed case, and then I check it on the train. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm on the train. Like I can't necessarily fix it. But yeah, so that's an issue. Yeah, because I've got all the cases. I've got a BAM double case, and I've got the Bona triple case, and then I've got the single case. I think that's all I have. Somebody wants to invest. Money is no object, which was for me to say they've got thousands of dollars, which pretty much puts us in the criteria of buying a clarinet, let's say. So my question is, if we're going to spend a lot of money, what considerations are we making? First of all, does anyone have an idea other than a new clarinet?
I have kind of a crazy idea that just popped in my head if we're going really like thousands of dollars. And this is inspired by a student of mine at the university that I teach at, who was a retired doctor and decided, I'm going to get a degree in music. So that could be an option, is go to music school and get really intensive, or also just a lot of lessons could be kind of along the lines too, to keep that theme running too.
Well, I'm curious to know, actually, this just popped into my head. What does an overhaul on a clarinet cost where you guys live?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably around 1,000, depending. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got thoughts on this. I'm interested to hear yours more than just repeating mine. An overhaul is an amazing thing, right? Because everything is taken off, everything's clean, But how much difference do you find between somebody taking your clarinet apart, cleaning it up, not necessarily changing all the pads, only the ones that need changing, versus the overhaul? Is there one that you prefer? Because I guess people call that a clean oil and adjust, which is less than a full overhaul.
I like the clean oil adjust because I just like if it's working right, I don't want to mess with it. There's a little bit of like voodoo in it for me, like a little superstition. Like if it's working, we're not going to change it, right? Because sometimes you fiddle with things and you're like, why is it now not going? It's not doing the thing. I hear a funny noise. It's like a car. It's like my dad always was hearing funny noises coming from the car. And you take it into the shop and they're like, that'll be $10,000 to do something to your car. And you have no idea what they did. So I just like do the little, like if there's a known problem, let's address it. And then like leave it at that till something else,
Yeah.
that's kind of my,
What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, that's interesting. I do kind of like the overhaul where you can see all the pads are brand new, and it gives me a sense of security that like, okay, everything is at least it looks shiny, so it must be working better or something now. But I'm also a kind of, or not also, I won't say this of Lynn, but I'm a chronic under servicer of my instruments, and so. Yeah,
I identify with that. Yeah, I would identify as that as well.
Well, the thing that I've always found to be challenging is having a relationship with the repairman or the repair technician. I don't want to be gender appropriate. Because most of my repair technicians have been women in the past 10 years, which is a total change from what it was previous to that. And in New York City, I mean, we had Kristen Bertrand, she left and came back, Melanie Wong, Shelly Tanabe, who's now in Texas. Amazing. But they've all come and gone. And I finally found a new person that I really trust, I really like. But I used to go, like, they would have shops. Well, Kristen and Melanie both worked for Buffet, or at Buffet more than for Buffet. But so they were there, like, in Midtown. So when I was doing shows, sometimes I would just stop in and say hello and get out of there kind of quickly so I didn't bother them for too long. But they would be willing to work on my instruments if I needed it. Because that's the thing about technicians is they have enough business. They're busy. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I found is you have to have a good relationship with them. Otherwise, they're too busy for you. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I don't actually have an active relationship. So I'm turning into, the pandemic ruined it too, right? Because, there was, but because I used to go get things tinkered with regularly. And now it's like once a year at the most. But once a year seems about the right amount of time, I think.
I think what I generally recommend to my students is about once a year. What I personally do is probably not that much. In fact, actually, the last time I had my clarinet like really serviced, and actually that is anything I've had done, I replaced one tenon cork myself since then, but the last time was the end of 2023, so I'm coming up on 2 years. But I also do think there are some leaks and stuff that I need to take mine in. But with the UJ being in New York, you have so much access, and you want to find somebody you have a good relationship with, and obviously go to one of the best, which is not a lot, and they're very busy in that kind of area. But where I'm at, there's one general repair person who does everything in town, and he does decent work. There's one person who plays in one of the military bands who's just kind of taking up repair, and he does pretty good work. But I have to drive like 3 hours to go to my preferred repair person, and there's really only like a handful that are really good, even in the whole state.
In New York City, there have been times where we've had more than enough, but then there's been times where there's not enough. Some of the most functional relationships I've had have been with repair people. Like where I feel like I know how to assess boundaries pretty well with them, which sometimes with regular people I don't. And so I but you'd be surprised. Sometimes in New York there's not a wealth of people, but because I think the rent's too high. I mean, quite honestly, my understanding of how their business model works is that they have a fixed amount of, they can work X number of hours in a day. They charge this much an hour, and that's what they can make. And in New York City, it's not, they don't end up with a huge amount of profit if they're renting a space to do these things and have all the equipment. Let's talk about clarinets. If you're shopping for a clarinet, first of all, let's just say what we all play, just so we can establish any sort of inherent bias that goes into anything that comes out of our mouths. I play on a buffet. What do I play? I play an RC Prestige. So that's what I play. What do you play, Josh?
I'm on the buffet tradition at the moment, and maybe in this discussion I'll fanboy about Backun a little bit to have another perspective.
Excellent. What do you play, Lynn?
I've got the buffet R13 Prestige.
Okay. All right. So we are all currently using buffet products.
Yep.
I have played back, this was a long time ago now, a LeBlanc, Opus, and Concerto. I used those instruments when they were available. And I've never played on a Selmer. I mean, I played on them, but not as my own instrument, a Selmer or a Backun. Have you guys ever played a different instrument full time? No.
Nope.
So Josh, so are you considering buying a Backun? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about, in Fort Worth at Clarinet Fest, I tried the new Essence that Backun came out with, which I think is a pretty cool product because it's in the price range of what you would expect a professional clarinet to be, but has a lot of the bells and whistles of Backun's out of the price range of what a normal clarinet should be instruments. So that's pretty cool and nice that that's kind of an option now, that they're kind of filling that niche. I think Backun is doing, I imagine, and I have absolutely no evidence of this, I'm not very close with anybody at Backun or anything at all, but I feel like their marketing strategy right now is they're trying to put a product into every possible niche. So they have their like very high quality intermediate, very high quality student, more beginner level student with the Alpha and the Alpha Plus, and then now the Essence is kind of filling that like mainstream, any professional could play it and it would be great, but it's not the price of a Lumiere, which I think is a very needed niche that they needed to fill. But I don't really want to talk about the B-flat clarinets, though they're exciting. The thing that I want to rave about is the Backun Alpha bass clarinet, which I got. I ordered it in January and got it in like May or something, so it's a few months old to me. But if you have some extra money and you feel like you've done the lessons and you know how to play the instrument well and you want a new really fun toy to play with, first of all, bass clarinet's the best out of the clarinets, so you'll have that to play with, which is great. Second of all, the Backun Alpha is an amazing instrument, especially for the price point, and you don't have to baby it too much. Whereas if you, first of all, the price point of getting a fully professional model instrument that's made out of wood is very expensive, so that's a huge investment. And then you're like, well, am I going to fall in love with bass clarinet that much? Am I going to play it enough? Am I going to keep the wood in condition by playing it enough? If you don't know, the Backun Alpha is at a price point where you can just go for it. You don't have to worry about caring for the wood, and you have this really fun toy to play with because, again, bass clarinet's the best.
Fill me in. Is the Alpha not made out of wood, or is it wood? Oh, what is it made
Correct,
out of?
yeah. It's fully synthetic. I think it's made out of the same material as the Alpha B flat clarinet. So yeah, it's fully synthetic, but it has all of the keywork and all the bells and whistles of the Q, their professional bass clarinet model at the moment. So it plays super easy. It feels great, and you can play it inside, outside, in the cold, in the hot, and just have fun with it.
That's nice.
That's great.
So, Lynn, if you were to take me clarinet shopping, what would you advise me?
Okay. Well, the question that I want to answer is not that one.
I think that's the way it should be. Answer whatever question you want.
Because you and I would go do something much. I don't know what we would do. We would have a whole bunch of fun, right? If we all met up in New York, we're like, let's go clarinet shopping, us three. That would be amazing. And I think we three would come, out of the stores, with a whole different bag of fun than we might do, like for students or like for somebody that's like, oh, I want to upgrade. So I'm going to answer the question that I want to answer, which is, what's the dark, so Josh, you're talking about like the Alpha, like it's kind of, we didn't know, like how cool that, like, this is a great clarinet for the money. So I'm going to put out there that if you just want like a really solid, good clarinet that's going to sound colorful, it's not going to be finicky, it's going to like play solid, be colorful, I'm going to vote for the Buffet E12F. So the intermediate clarinet, and then I'm going to say you put onto that E12F a gorgeous mouthpiece, and then you are off to the races, right? Like that combination, I have seen more students like I don't know why, it's like a winning combination, good mouthpiece and then this particular clarinet. There's like something that it is, it's got like a smoothness, like a creamy quality to it, but it's not like it's not dull smooth. It's like still colorful, but still smooth. So I don't know. I find it very appealing. And I feel like for your money, like, cause I'm always looking for a bargain. I feel like for your money on a buffet now, cause as we know, the prices are just higher and higher and higher for for everybody. So I feel like for your money, that's a good thing. And if you can find it used, like even better, right?
Well, that's something that I wanted to get everybody's impression of is of the instruments that you have had in your professional career, how many of them have been used?
All of them.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious to know, did you buy them from people you knew?
I have a fun story for the tradition that I'm currently playing on. So I got it while I was doing my master's in Chicago, and I got there and got a few students. And my first student in Chicago was this adult who came in with this like really beat up, like she played it in elementary school 40, 50 years ago. And it was one where you could actually replace the left hand key. It had like an extension you could put on there that would cover that hole for like kids with small fingers, which I had never seen before, which is kind of brilliant, but it was in terrible condition. And then the second student I got in Chicago was also an adult who was kind of interested in playing. And I'm like, okay, I wonder what kind of instrument he's going to come in with. And he comes in with this brand new buffet tradition that he was like, I was kind of interested in clarinet. So I sent an email to Richie Hawley because I heard that he like is good and knows stuff. And he replied back with like, oh, I was just in Paris testing them at the factory, and like these are the serial numbers that I liked. And he bought one of those ones that Richie was testing and liked. And he took lessons for like 6 months and was like, nah, I think I'm gonna focus more on saxophone and piano. And in his first lesson, I tried his clarinet and was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I got to the point where my teacher was saying maybe I needed a new clarinet, and I reached out to him and was like, "Hey, do you still have that clarinet that you might want to get rid of for a good price?" And that worked out.
Nice. So, Lynn, have you always bought new or have you bought used?
I had my very first clarinet was the one that my mother played on when she was in high school. And that's how I started with the clarinet. I thought I was going to play violin when I came home from school. Like on the day where you pick an instrument, I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to do violin." And she's like, "Well, there's a clarinet in the basement. So you're going to do clarinet." So that's how clarinet came to me, which was great. It was awesome. And I loved that clarinet. And then at some point in high school, she got for me a used R13 from the 70s. That was from, it was like one of the professors at University of Northern Colorado. It was their clarinet, and she bought it. She worked at the university. So she bought it from them. So used, it was already very used by the time that I got it. And I played on that till like 6 years ago when I finally was like, it's totally blown. I've blown it out. It was probably blown out before I even got it. It just like, it wouldn't hold the sound anymore. It just wouldn't hold it no matter what I did with equipment, thus the rabbit holes that I've gone down. But and then I ended up looking around a lot, trying a lot of different clarinets when I wanted to replace it. And I almost bought a Backun. But then I just I kind of wimped out. I kind of like, got scared about like, oh, what if I don't play a buffet? Like I got to my core identity a little bit in probably a not super healthy way. So I ended up getting a new R13 Prestige. I wanted the Prestige. It has like a nice density and a nice core and a nice ring, and so that's kind of what I did. But I think, as we all know, it's always a compromise, right? So I'm getting kind of the color and the ring and the core that I like, but I'm always working on my intonation, always.
My first clarinet is featured in lots of videos. You can see it right behind my head. It's right there. That's my first clarinet. I don't think it was new, actually. I don't even remember. It's an Armstrong 4000. A little bit unknown in the clarinet world, but it got me started for a couple of years. And then I ended up going to the local music store and getting an R13 in sixth grade. My mom believed me when I told her I wanted to play the clarinet, and she said, "Are you going to really play this?" I said, "Yes, I am." And so she got me a professional clarinet, which I wasn't allowed to take to school for a long time, and I think that was the right move. And that one wasn't yet a lamp, so I could play that one still. That has all the original pads on it. I wonder if I unlamped it, would it play? But yeah, then a lot of I've had a lot of clarinets. My LeBlanc was used. The clarinet I play now, the A was new, but the B flat I bought from somebody who was a great player who had too many clarinets, and he had gotten it overhauled with my repairman that I loved at the time. Still love her, but not. I don't really use her right now because she's so busy. But Kristen Bertrand, I was like, perfect. I mean, it's. I mean, I feel like if you can find somebody sewing a clarinet who's great at playing the clarinet, who just has too many clarinets, and their instrument has been overhauled, you're winning on a lot of levels. You're saving a lot of money because it's probably a good clarinet and it's got all the work done on it. Tell me how you feel about this frustrating situation. If you agree with my assessment and why it is that way. Why is it that when we go buy a clarinet, almost any clarinet, I would say, it doesn't really work right. If you go to a showroom and they get it out of the box and put it together, it doesn't really seal. The keys don't feel very good. All the spring tensions are off, and then you have to go get it fixed as soon as you buy it. Is that what everybody does? That's what I do. And I feel like I know. I won't say what shop it was. When a clarinet sat around for too long, they would just have the repairman work on it, and they would sell the next time somebody came in, because it was just that was making the clarinet not sell. Why is this level of consistency something we just accept in the clarinet world? I guess we don't have a choice. I don't know. It's weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that at the end of the day, the answer has something to do with profit margins, and the factories just can't set them all up nicely. And we don't have options. If there was some manufacturer who started making every clarinet really good right out of the box, then maybe it would make a difference. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, that goes to why one should look to a certain place to buy one over another one. I think Brian Corbin does a good job putting his stuff together. I think Alcides Rodriguez at Rodriguez Musical Services does a great job making the stuff good. So when people are trying it, they know what they're getting. And I think people that are willing to go that extra mile to create such good things in the clarinet world, we should shop at their stores. And to me, like Brian Corbin, I think it's Corbin Clarinet Products is the official name, and then Alcides Rodriguez. I feel very confident that both of them, for somebody they don't know, like somebody wants to buy a clarinet, they're going to give them a clarinet that works because that's who they are. Yeah,
I would add Earspasm and Michael Lowenstern to that list as well.
100%. Yeah, I it's funny. Like I know he sells instruments, but I also I'm just all the other stuff he sells is what comes to my head. Forgive me, Michael, if you for some reason are watching this video. I did not mean to leave you out. I finally met him in person just about a week ago. It was nice. I mean, I'd met him in passing a lot of times, but we were actually in the same room for about an hour together, and we actually had a moment of hello, how are you? It was nice. Does he work on instruments, or does he have somebody work on them before he sells them? Or
he has somebody else, but yeah, all of his instruments that he sells, to my understanding, get worked on and fully set up before they go out.
Yeah. That is a big difference maker. I think if somebody is out there thinking about just buying an instrument from Amazon, which I'm sure you can get them, or directly from somebody who hasn't worked on it, even if it's a little bit more expensive, getting one that's been worked on is good, and particularly if you don't have a lot of confidence in choosing an instrument, right? I think that's the thing. The vendors that you can trust that are good clarinet players, that know what this is, and they're sending it to you. It's a much different experience, and I think that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And speaking of profit margins, to not be too calling out the companies too much, but Michael sells the clarinets at the same price that you would buy them if you got them from Buffet or Backun or whatever, but he gets them set up and he's still making enough profit margin to make it work. So if he can do it, the big companies probably maybe should. I don't know.
There is the baked in sort of excuse of, well, it has to be shipped for thousands of miles, and I'm not sure
and marketing budgets and staffing and there's other expenses, sure, and yeah.
but it would be weird if you walked into your car dealership and bought a car and then immediately needed to spend a lot of money to get it to work right. I mean, people wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
But I know it's a different industry, and it's different. So I think we've got a lot of stuff covered here. I really appreciate everybody's insight. Yeah. So my call to action for anyone listening to this is please share what your most favorite piece of equipment is, or what your most desired piece of equipment is. Is there something out there in the world that if you just had this one thing, it would change everything? Because we all have that imaginary thing in our mind. If I just had X, then I would sound like Y. Never true, but we all have that thing, and I think it's fun to talk about our dreams. So I'd love to see the comment sections filled up with stuff that you love, things that matter to you. Try to keep in agreement with the things that we've said. If you disagree, do it nicely, and everything's good. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is fun.
All right. All right, that's it. So you have some good ideas about what to buy, what to do, and how to have a great time just checking stuff out on the clarinet. Thank you, Lynne Snyder. Thank you, Josh Gu. It was great to talk to you, and we will see you next time on the Clarinet Ninja Podcast. Like, subscribe, do it all. Would you, please? Thank you. Bye.